All right, Canvas's new rich content editor. So you may be wondering, what is a rich content editor? And that's a really good question. Before working with Canvas, I don't know if I had heard the term. I certainly knew what it was once I was told what it was called. I just never knew it was called a rich content editor. It's basically the text box that you'll find all over Canvas that lets you add paragraphs, headings, formatting the text. You can add videos and links and more. It's in many places in Canvas. And why should you care that it's changing? Well, because like I just said, it's used in many places in Canvas, and I'm almost certain that if you have used Canvas at all for your classes, you have used the rich content editor at least a little bit. And your students may also use the rich content editor pretty frequently. So it's important that you know how to use it both for yourself and also to help them should they have any questions or problems. So in today's workshop, I'm basically just going to cover the differences between the current but kind of old rich content editor and the new one that is going to be a forced rollout come Monday for everybody. So on Monday, you're going to see the new rich content editor, whether you want it or not. So you might as well get used to it now. As I mentioned, many areas of Canvas use the new RCE that includes announcements, assignments, discussions, pages, quizzes, syllabus. Anything that you find yourself typing into Canvas most likely is using the rich content editor, or almost anything, not quite everything, but almost everything that when you're typing into Canvas uses the RCE. And I'm going to call it the RCE because rich content editor is a mouthful and gets repetitive. So I'm just going to say RCE, and I appreciate you sticking with me while I get lazy and do that. For the most part, oh, and this is what the current RCE looks like. And you have this text box here where I've inserted an image of it sailing off into the sunset. It's job well done. Um, and you'll see different text formatting tools and some other tools that you can use, like inserting media or adding in a link or adding some math equations, things of that nature. So that's going away. Bye-bye. And hello to the new hotness, the new rich content editor. It looks a little different, but it does a lot of the same stuff. So it's not going to be too tricky because the purpose of it and the use of it doesn't really change. It's just getting familiar with where things are now, by and large. So the new rich content editor includes three primary areas. There is the content area, which is represented by the number 1 here. This is where you include content. Generally, you'll add a lot of text, but you also may have links or images or videos or tables or equations. It's where all the content is that you are going to share with students. And then after that, we have what is called the menu bar. That is represented by the number 2, edit, insert, format, tools, and table. Those are all the menu bar. In the menu bar, you use a lot of this to format your content. And then there's finally the toolbar, which is everything that's from 3 to 9 over here. This is all part of the toolbar, and you can do different things with the toolbar. And I'll talk about all these different areas in greater detail throughout this workshop. So I want to show you an actual Canvas course with an example of the RCE. So I'm in one of my sample courses here, and I've got a page for an assignment that I've made. And we see this is the RCE. This is the rich content editor. And this is what the new one looks like. So you see I have some text here, and I could also include a video or use some of the text to link to a website. you're probably at least a little familiar with at least the basics of what you can do with this. So let's take a look at it in a little bit more detail, and we'll start off with the menu bar. The menu bar, according to the Canvas documentation, the items in the menu bar can accomplish all the same things that can be accomplished with the tools in the toolbar. It's another way to access these. And so a lot of the changes that were made for accessibility reasons to allow for someone using just a keyboard to access all the tools within the rich content editor. And so that's why you'll see that a lot of the things that you can do are duplicated between the toolbar and the menu bar. So for example, look at format. Format has bold, italic, underline, etc. And what is this? Bold, italic, underline, etc. So a lot of the the functions are duplicated between the menu bar and the toolbar. Not entirely the same between the two, but a lot of content is the same, and that's an accessibility thing. When I first saw the new rich content editor, I didn't immediately realize it was for accessibility. I just saw duplicated functions, and I thought, well, that's bulky and stupid. Why would they duplicate? If I have bold here, why would I need to have bold here? It just seems like, you know, extra confusion for no good reason. But then I read up and learned about the accessibility reasons, and it made perfect sense to me. So, let's see. Let's start with the edit. So edit has different tools that you can use. Many of these you'll be familiar from using things like Microsoft Word, undo and redo. This allows you to undo the most recent thing that you did or redo it. So I'll show you an example of that. So I type that out, choose undo, and it removes it. I decide I want it, I redo, it's there. You also have cut, copy, paste. Paste is text, which pastes without any formatting, and then select all, which selects everything in here. So those are all pretty self-explanatory, and I won't go into much detail or show you how to do most of these because you're probably familiar with them. Next up, we will look at the view. The view tools are full screen and then raw HTML editor. The full screen tool will, I'll show you visually as well as describe it. It makes your rich content editor take up the full screen, the full window that you have. And we've got a question in the chat maybe. And Molly is here today, so she will be able to address any questions you might have in the chat. She's just adding some content. Thank you, Molly. Back into view. Well, actually, before I move away from the full screen view, one easy way to get out of full screen view when you're in it is simply to hit the escape key on your keyboard, and that'll take you back to the, I don't know, partial screen view, I guess we'll call it. One thing to know is that when Canvas first rolled out the new RCE, for some reason, the actual content box was like this big, and that's as large as you could make it. And I think they realized that that was a really dumb idea because Molly and I both contacted our Canvas rep and said, hey, this is really dumb. Y'all need to fix this. And I'm sure a lot of other Canvas users did too. And so the final product, you have this tool over here. These, we call them the egg carton icon. You can click on that and drag and readjust the content window size, which is really handy and a lot better than what they originally had. So there's a couple of different ways to change the size of your content, or well, the full screen changes the entire RCE, whereas the icon over here just changes the size of the content area, both of which are good to know about and handy. There's also a keyboard shortcut that you can use. Notice when I click on my view on the menu bar and I see full screen, to the right of it, it's kind of hard to see. The contrast isn't great. That might be an accessibility thing that they need to address. It shows you Control plus Shift plus F. If you're unfamiliar with keyboard shortcuts, this is often how they're represented in text. So what you would do for this is hold the Control button while pressing Shift and then also F, and you hold those two until you get all three pressed. And then simply with your keyboard, you can switch between full screen and partial screen. And there'll be a few areas where there's keyboard shortcuts, and it'll tell you what they are to the right of the name. So we see there's keyboard shortcuts for undo and redo. And the reason that those are handy is it just helps you work more efficiently. There's also accessibility reasons, but it also helps you work more efficiently. Instead of having to take your hands off the keyboard, get to your mouse, move your mouse, click, and then do it, you can just do it all from the keyboard and just work a lot faster. I don't care if you use them. It's just be aware that they're here, and if you want to use them, they can help you out. So next up, I want to talk about the HTML editor. And a lot of people aren't going to know what HTML it is or what the editor is, and that's fine. I'll cover it at a high level. So the HTML editor is basically at a high level, it's code that you can use to manipulate the content in the content box, manipulate text, images, and other content. It is the code is generated automatically as you make your content in here, but there are some things that you can't really accomplish with the tools that are available to you on the toolbar or the menu bar. And instead, you would have to get into the actual HTML code and make your edits in there to make the changes. Joe Wagner raised his hand. Yes, Joe.
Yeah, just the point you just made, some things you can't do in there. For example, I use HTML to align images sometimes, but what are some other like top 3 or 4 things that you would actually go into HTML to use to enhance the image of the content you're putting up there? Because like I said, the only thing I use it for is that align feature, which is nice. It looks a lot better, but what other things are people using?
It helps a lot with similar items like the alignment, borders and padding, and just getting things formatted to appear correctly. That is very useful in terms of Canvas, because Canvas doesn't have a lot of dynamic tools for formatting tables, for example. So you can adjust the kind of padding and spacing of tables, as well as images and things like that using the HTML code. Another thing that I've used it for is to force links to open in a new window. You can have your links open in a new tab, but if you want them to open in a new window, you can add code to your link to make it do that, which is not the end of the world if you don't want to do that. But that's just another example.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Joe. I also
Yeah,
want to add embed codes. So if you, for example, make a Google form survey, you can embed your Google form seamlessly into a Canvas page using the embed code.
Great. And I just did an embed yesterday for an announcement. So that's perfect. That's another great example. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. Thank you.
Sure. Good question. So the HTML code, like I said, is generated automatically as you're building your content. So I haven't done anything with the HTML editor at this time in this content here. But if I change this over to the HTML editor, we see some of that code. These are the things that show up in the brackets. P is for paragraph. It's an open paragraph and closed paragraph. And I'm not going to teach you how to use HTML code because it's going to take way longer than we have. But this is just kind of a visual example of what some HTML code looks like. There's many different ways that you might use it. Embedding is a great example. Adjusting formatting is another useful example. You certainly do not have to use the HTML editor ever. It's a little bit more advanced than is absolutely necessary. You can create really good dynamic content without ever using it. But there are some things that it becomes helpful for. And so you notice when I switch to the HTML editor, it looks a lot like the RCE only that the toolbar and the menu bar disappear, because you don't need any of that formatting. The code, that would just get in the way and cause confusion. So that disappears. And then you notice down in the bottom right area here, I've got this little icon, which if I hover over it, tells me it'll switch me back to the RCE. So if you ever get caught in your HTML editor and you want to get back, just remember the icons down there. We'll look at insert now. So the first item is link. This is where you can link to external or course links. If you're not familiar, adding a link will direct someone to another location. So if you wanted to link to another website, you could highlight some text and use the link tool. It's also on the toolbar, but we'll do it from here. And link to an external tool, and it'll have your text that you highlighted, and then you can link to a website. And then it becomes dynamic, and a student can click on this text here and be relocated to that location, that website. You can also look at it and see what the link options are. And basically it just lets you alter the text or the link itself. And you can also remove the link. And then let's take a look at the link for a course link. This will allow you to direct students to a specific area within your course. So instead of an outside resource like a different website, you can direct students to another location. So I could say something like, don't forget to look at the study guide, and then I could link to the study guide. And I don't think I actually have a study guide in this example course, but I can pretend I do. And then when students get to here, don't forget to look at the study guide, and they click on it, they're redirected to that study guide in my course. So it just makes it more efficient for them, so they don't have to go searching for the study guide. And by making it easier for them, you're making it more likely that they'll actually do it. The harder they have to work to accomplish it, the less likely they are to do it, in my opinion. So there's some benefits to doing that. We have image. You can upload an image from your computer. So if you have a saved image on your computer, you can upload it directly to whichever content RCE you're in. If you're in a discussion or an announcement or an assignment or what have you, you can upload it directly to here. This saves you from having to upload it as a course file and then make it available in your content. It works fine either way. You just choose upload content, and then you can drag and drop the file here, or you can click and browse your computer for the file. And if you like it, submit. And now I've got my image that I just uploaded. And if I click on it, it gives me this little pop-up and gives me some options. I can add alternative text for the image, which is important for accessibility reasons. If it's a decorative image, you don't have to add alt text, but you do have to tell Canvas it's a decorative image. A decorative image is just something that's for appearance and doesn't really add any sort of content. And then there's some other stuff that you can do, such as like adjusting the size. Like this one is huge, so I can adjust it down. So you can add an image that way. We also saw that you could use Unsplash. So Unsplash are copyright-free images. So I can search for a keyword and find related images. Choose the one that I like. And then I can give it alt text. And I can either display it as a link so that this would open in a new tab when students click on it, or I can embed the image, which will include it directly in the content. So notice in the HTML, this is a link to that image that I have. And then I have the size. So I have width equals 1080, and I could adjust that if I wanted to bring it down a lot. And I can do it either like this, or I can do it by clicking on the image and then image options and doing it this way. So you don't need to know HTML for something like this, although you can accomplish things with it. So done. So there's my image. And then I'll go back to image again. If you have an image online and you'd like to link to that image online, you can paste that image link right here. And it's just another way to add an image. So several different ways to add images to your course or to your content. And then you also have course images. These are images that you have already uploaded to your course. So if you're going to reuse an image a few times, you can upload it to your course and then find it here. I don't know if I have any images. Okay, I do have a few. So these are images that have been uploaded to my course. And you'll notice that I can change between user files and course files. User files are not associated with a specific course. They're associated with your Canvas account. So they're going to be available no matter which course you're in because they're associated with your account. Course files are related only to their specific course. And then you just, double click and then the image gets added. Maybe just single click. Yeah, I added it twice. Single click and it'll add the image. And then user image, like I was just telling you, these are related to your account and are not related to a course. Then we have media. Media is the same thing. You can upload videos or audio from your computer. You can record it directly. So Canvas allows you to record directly within the RCE. This won't work perfectly. Oh, well, it's showing my face. Because my camera's turned off. So if you're doing a Zoom call and your camera's turned on, you can't use your camera for two different features. So normally when I have done kind of displays about this, it doesn't show my video preview, but it shows, okay, so here I am going to create media and I can see that my microphone's working because this little blue bar down here changes with my voice. So I know it's picking up my audio and I can see myself. So I know it's got my webcam. But if you're having trouble with either one of those, you can click on their corresponding button and you might have to change to a different application or software or hardware source. If you have a default microphone and a plugged in microphone or something, you may have to change it, or your webcam. Generally, it'll pick up the right thing and you probably don't have to worry about it. So once you've got yourself ready, you can start recording. You get a little countdown and then you do your recording. Hi, I'm your instructor. My name is David Cobb. I have a graduate degree in management information systems, and I can't wait to teach you how to play hockey this season. Even though my degree has nothing to do with hockey, I'm still super qualified because I watch a lot of games. And finish. And you can get a preview. So you can preview to make sure it looks all right. You can give it a name and save, or you can start over. If you don't like the finished product, you can start over. I click save, and now it's going to be embedded directly into my rich content editor content area. So now if I were to save, and I'll show you what it looks like from the student side, it's going to look pretty much how it looks from the instructor side. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. Why might you use something aside from the built-in recorder? Well, if you noticed, the recorder didn't have any fancy bells and whistles. You can't share your screen, which is going to be a big drawback if you're wanting to do a recording of a lecture. You can't share PowerPoints. You can't share what's on your computer screen. All you can do is record your face and audio. I guess you could hold up like sheets of paper with notes and stuff if you wanted to do it that way, but there are better tools to make videos where you can share PowerPoints and your screen and stuff. But for a basic video where you just need your voice and your face, This is by far the easiest way to add that content, and it works perfectly well. It's just not super robust. You can't do any sort of editing or anything like that. And then course media and user media are the same kind of idea as their course image and user image. It's basically, you know, resources that are uploaded to your course or are uploaded in relation to your account. You can search for them and use them there. Same thing for document. Upload a document, find documents that are already available in your course or ones that are associated with your Canvas account. Next, we have equation. So Canvas has an integrated tool for math and science formulas, and that's this equation tool. The math editor can be used for basic mathematical formatting, and it's good for, you know, introductory math courses. Or, you know, if you're careful, you could probably use it for more advanced mathematical courses as well. Both students and instructors have access to the math editor, and we can see the general idea behind it here. We have different symbols and operators and relationships and everything. And so we can, this is a content area for that. So that's a super basic example of what you can do with the math editor. I have absolutely no idea how helpful this is for math classes. I've done my best to purge math from my mind as soon as I was done with it in college. I hope it works really well for math instructors, but I don't know. And then you also have to switch to advanced, which I don't know. I didn't look in to see what this does. It just kind of makes it appear differently. I'm not sure. All right, so next we will look at format. Format's really self-explanatory for the most part. We have ways to format text, and it gives you a nice little symbol to show you what each of the formatting tools does. So strike through, it shows you, puts a line through your text. Superscript raises your the text that you put after the main text, you know, a little bit above it. Subscript a little bit below. Code makes it look a little different when you're doing your typing. Formats, the most important thing from formats is the headings. So for accessibility reasons, you want to use headings properly. And this is not an accessibility workshop, so I'm not going to be able to explain what that means. But basically, you want to be careful how you use your headings. You don't want to use headings in place of changing a font size. Like if you need certain content to be bigger, change the font size. Don't say, I'll make it a heading 1 because heading 1s look bigger. Because when a student goes through your content with a screen reader, if they have visual issues, screen readers will progress logically by heading. And so if you have your headings in here willy-nilly, it's going to make the content basically unreadable for the screen readers and thus for the student. Inline is kind of a duplicate of stuff we've already seen. You can do a block quote. Let's see what it looks like on content. It changes the formatting a little bit. Just to call out a quote, I guess. I imagine that would be useful for some English classes. And then align. You're probably familiar with align. It aligns your text. Oh, that's not a line. This is a line. Align is also available on the toolbar. So a lot of the tools that you'll see in format are also available on the toolbar, or probably everything that you can do on the toolbar is also accomplishable in the format menu as well. At least that's what the documentation said. Change the text color, add background color, self-explanatory stuff. Next up, we will look at tools. So for tools, there's the easy one, which is word count, which just shows you the word count. And then the one that's a little bit more complicated to explain, which is the apps. So when I go to apps, I get this little side pop-up window as view all, and I can choose that. And then I get a list of items that are currently available to me. Panopto, Vimeo, YouTube, Office 365, etc. Let's say Panopto. This allows me to link to Panopto. I don't know why it's not connecting. It could be a timeout issue. It could be a security issue. Unfortunately, I don't know. But basically, it should allow you to connect to Panopto. And then if you have videos waiting in Panopto, you can add them to your course that way. Oh yeah, I'll mention that. So notice this time when I went to tools and went to apps, I have Panopto video above view all. Canvas will display the most recent tools that you use. I'm not sure how many it'll do. It'll do multiple tools. I'm not sure if there's a limit. Probably, I'm sure there is. But I'll say YouTube. I'll leave YouTube and we'll look at tools again. And now I see Panopto and YouTube. It just makes it a little bit easier for you to get the tools that you use all the time instead of having to go to view all and finding the one. So these tools just basically allow you, these are things that are integrated with Canvas, and you can more seamlessly add these different tools content to your Canvas content. All right, let's take a look at the toolbar. A lot of this we're going to go over really quickly because we've already covered it in the menu bar. We've got font size. We have the headers that you can change. We have different formatting tools. We have a link, so you can link text to a website. We have images that you can add. We have media that you can add. We have documents that you can add. This is the icon for the tools, which how the heck are you just supposed to intuit that from a little plug? I have no idea, or I'm sorry, apps. But the handy thing is, if you don't know what something is, point your cursor on top of it and just leave it there for a second, and then you'll get a little pop-up text window that tells you what it is. And then we have some additional text formatting stuff. We have alignment. We have bullets, increase or decrease indentation. So I have hello, and it's flush with the left. I can increase indentation that way or decrease it. What is this? Format eraser, I think. I think this might be a format erasing tool. Clear formatting. Yeah. So that's a handy tool that I will take a second to talk about. It's not something super widely known. So if you're ever copying and pasting text into your content editor here, let's do something. Copy some content and paste it into my content here. You see that it kept the formatting of the source. So it's got a bold and a link, and it's got some bold here and another link. And I can get rid of that if I don't want that formatting by using the remove clear formatting tool. And the links are still there. It doesn't get rid of that, but got rid of the bolds and stuff. So you'd have to get rid of the links a different way. Such as highlighting and then going to the link. Huh. Well, that's weird. So it looks like a link, and it says it's a link. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why the link on the toolbar didn't show the link like this one did, but you can get rid of the link. However, it looks like it won't let you click done if there is no link. So you may just have to, in this scenario, erase this and type it back in, unfortunately. Another thing that you can do instead of just using the clear formatting is when you do your paste, you can paste as plain text, and that's probably even better. Notice that the links even are gone, as well as the formatting. So you can do it by right-clicking and choosing the paste as plain text, or you notice that there is a keyboard shortcut for it. And then there's also in the edit tools, you can also paste as plain text. So just a few ways to get rid of formatting when you copy and paste. So that's handy to have. And then we have the table, which I've skipped up here. The table tool that you have in the menu bar can accomplish the same thing as the table tool that you have in the toolbar. So if you hover over table, you can build your table size, rows and columns, and it tells you how many rows and columns you have as you change it. So we see what that looks like. And after we have a table, we can adjust cell properties, such as their width, their height, or their cell type. Some of these things I don't know exactly what they do, but this isn't a table building workshop, so that's okay. Don't forget, as always, there are going to be Canvas guides available on table building. So if you really want to get into building tables, look for the guide and you'll find all the information you need. Just know that you've got this on your toolbar and also in the menu bar, so you can do all sorts of stuff with your tables.
Hey, David.
Yes.
There was a question in chat. If you have time, could you demo how to insert a file from your computer?
Sure, no problem. So if I'm just going to do a document kind of file, like a Word document or a PDF, then I want to use the document link. Notice that there were 3 different types of uploads that you can do. There's the images, the media, and the document. You want to use the corresponding icon/tool for whatever kind of content you're uploading. So for an image, I want a Word doc, I want the document. And then I am going to use upload document. That's the one that chooses from your computer. As I mentioned, the course document are documents that are already uploaded to your course, and user documents are related to your Canvas account, which you can use in classes, but are not directly specific to a certain class. But I'm going to upload document, and then I get this window, and so I can drag a file into here if I want to. If I want to close everything out, bring back my window. Oh, why did you bring my PowerPoint back? I don't want that. So I've got some stuff on my desktop right now. So I could just drag a file into here and then it'll upload that way. Submit. We'll wait while it's processing, and here's my document. And that's totally fine. You can do it that way if you want to. You can also choose to do a display. Oh, I'm sorry, that disables inline preview. Some document types will do what's called an inline preview, which means you'll see the actual document within your content area, and that will be available to students. Some document types do not do that. You are allowed to disable that if you don't like that as an option. You can also choose to automatically open inline previews too. Let's save, and we'll take a look at it from the student side. So here we see that document that I uploaded appears in the content area, and the previewer appears automatically because I set it like that, but I can minimize the file preview and it'll go away. This little icon to the right of the actual file itself, that will reopen the preview. Or if I click on it, it'll open it in a new window, and it may also download it. You see download, if I were to click on it now, it would download that file. And it also gets added to your course files. Go back into here. Oh, I gotta leave student view. Leave student view, go into edit. and I will get rid of it. And if you want to remove it, it's as simple as deleting that link there. Course documents, let's see what kind of documents I already have uploaded. I have a few already in here. And just double click it. Oh, not double click, single click. Gosh, it's like I'm brand new to computers. Single click will add the wherever you have your cursor. So if I wanted it a bit lower, move my cursor lower and then click on the item and it gets added. And user files, I don't know what user files I might have, so I have some user files as well. Same deal, just click on it and it'll get added to your content area. And then it's the same idea for media files, images, as well as audio and video files. Same kind of deal. You can either drag a file or you can click on this area and it'll open this file explorer. And then you can find what you want to add. Click on it. It gives you a preview. It can add closed captions if you have a file of the closed captions or subtitles. I don't have subtitle file for this, but you can see a preview of it before you decide to submit it. If you like it, submit. And because it's a larger file, it'll take a little bit longer to add than something like an image or a text document, but eventually it'll be added on here and then students will be able to just click play and see what I added. And I'll undo because I don't care about adding that right now. And then we have the math equation button, takes you to that same page where you can do your math equations. And then we have embed. And so like Molly was saying, you can embed using the HTML code. And it used to be that was really the best and only way to embed content. But Canvas has made it way easier because when you have a lot of content, let me go to an activity that has a lot more content already. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. That's not going to be good. Well, unfortunately, because this is just a course for my gradebook workshop, I don't have very robust assignments, but we'll take a look at this one. So we'll look at the HTML for this, and there won't be a lot. But when you have a lot of content, images, and links and stuff, the HTML editor gets really crammed up, and it can be difficult to get your embed content directly where you want it. And so instead of having to do it from the HTML code, now all you have to do is from within the rich content editor, put your cursor where you want your embedded content. Like say I wanted a YouTube video in between this top portion of text and this bottom portion of text. I put my cursor there, I go to embed, I paste that embed code, and let me get something real quick. I'll get a, oh, you know what? Let me use YouTube. That'll be handy. So tools, apps, YouTube. Hockey is my favorite thing. Hockey, embed. So YouTube makes it super simple. All I have to do is click embed and it puts it in there for me, but that's not what I actually wanted to do. So let me redo this here. But pay attention to that. If you want to use a YouTube video, that makes it super duper easy. You find your YouTube video and then and then I wonder what I did with that. And then just click the embed button and it puts it right in there for you. So that's really nice. Let's see. Well, it doesn't even give me the option to find the code, it looks like, because they're like, this is so much easier if you just do it this way. Why do you want the code? So let's. Okay. All right, so I find a YouTube video that I like. Shush now. And then I click share And one of the options for share is embed. And so I get this code here, and I can copy it this way, or I can click the copy here. So basically, I just want to show you how to use the embed tool. If you don't know what all this means, don't worry about it. You do not have to do this. But if you ever want to embed something, you get the code first, and then I go back to my course, and I put my cursor where I want the video to be displayed or whatever it is I'm embedding. I click the little embed icon, paste my code, submit, and now I've got my video embedded within this page. As we saw when I looked at the YouTube, if you're using a YouTube video, it's even easier. It's way easier than that. You just find your video, you click that embed, bada bing, bada boom, you've got your video in your page. All right. Next, you can add attachments by clicking on this file attachment and then find your attachment that you want. And let's take a look and see how that's different. So it's a little bit different. It shows up as a file like this, which is different than how I added a document to the content area itself. When I add a document to the content area, it actually shows up in the content area. When I add an attachment using this, then it shows up as an attachment for download rather than displayable content in the page. And then we have a few icons down here. A couple of them I already covered. This first one kind of looks like a keyboard. It'll show you some keyboard shortcuts. Next one is the accessibility checker. So Canvas has a built-in accessibility checker, which you should use all the time. And this will let me fix this a little bit. I have no idea what happened to my display to have my tools way up there. Usually if I just refresh, it'll fix that. Yeah, there we go. So I'll show you what the accessibility checker can do briefly. One area is contrast. So you want to make sure that your content has significant contrast. You see, when I make the text gray and the background black, it's kind of hard to read. So if I check the accessibility checker, it'll catch and say, hey, dude, your contrast is not good. You either need to make the text a lot bigger or fix the contrast. I don't know exactly how to apply this fix, to be honest with you, because this is not an accessibility workshop. But so you run your accessibility checker and it will tell you when you have things that are not accessible, and then it will offer solutions, and you should implement those solutions so that you have a fully accessible course. Contrast is just one small area of accessibility, but it's the easiest thing for me to show you how that tool works. Next to that, you have the word count, just like we had the word count tool up here. We see it keeps track of how many words you have. This is available. All these tools are available to students too. When they're typing within Canvas, they're doing it within the RCE, and all these tools are available to them as well. And we have the HTML editor. We have the full screen button, and then we have the little thing that you can drag to adjust the size of the content area. So all of this stuff that I covered, if not all of it, almost all of it is available with the current rich content editor. It's just displayed differently and in some different places and a few different icons, but all the tools function the same. You can accomplish the same kind of things. So don't worry about this too much because it's not really a big change. The last thing that I want to show you is if you want to start playing around with it over the weekend or today, I want to show you how to turn it on. By Monday, you won't have a choice. It will just be the only thing available to you. But if you want to do it over the weekend, you go to your course.
Hey, David, I just double checked and it is tomorrow.
What is tomorrow?
The 16th when it's not Monday.
Oh, tomorrow is the 16th, not
Yep.
Monday.
Yep.
Okay. Well, if you want to do it tonight before the official change, I'll still show you how to turn it on. Or you can just wait until tomorrow and you won't have to turn it on. It'll just be there. But if you want to turn it on, go to your course settings, go to the feature options tab. Generally, you'll probably be in the course details, change over to the features options tab, and then you have RCE enhancements, turn that on, and that will be the new rich content editor. So I will leave the remainder of our time for any questions.